This weekend gaming, Nintendo says there's no need for new franchises. Life is Strange gets a TV show, which I'm excited about. Pete Hines talks about the current state of gaming, and Microsoft is not happy with Game Pass. This is the NerdCave News, and I am your host tonight, Zach Dykes. Derek is busy tonight. He is on assignment. Guys, let us know how you are doing down in the comments below. I am excited. We've got an awesome show planned for you tonight. We got a lot of great stuff that we're going to be talking about. So let me know how you are down in the comments below. Amy's hello. Always love seeing the hello. Guys, it's been a good week. We had an awesome stream on Tuesday. Playing some Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to be playing some more this coming up Tuesday. It's going to be a great time. Saturday, I'm excited, everybody. I know that darn Derek, it's really more the darn people that he works with not showing up to work, and he's having to be an adult. Saturday, I'm excited, everybody, going to watch Demon Slayer, the Infinity Castle movie part 1. I'm really looking forward to it. If you are interested and can make it to the Pensacola area, message me on Discord. We'll go watch it together. I'm looking for a time on Saturday. We'll see. I don't know if I want to do IMAX, though. I don't know if the expanded price is worth the juice is worth the squeeze. So if you are interested in that, please let me know. Would love to get y'all to come and be a part of that. Just a shout out, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in a bit. We have a new kind of layout to the Patreon. Show this to y'all. The Patreon has been updated. I'm trying to be a little bit better about this. It's one of those things. You got life going on. You know what I mean? You got life going on. When we're in the welcome, let's take that off. You can see, and we're running a 50% off right now for any new first month. So you can pick any tier and you'll get it. Look at this. Look at all these. Like, it looks so nice. It looks so nice. You got Eat Sleep Anime, which we've got something coming out tomorrow, which is going to be great. Derek and I reviewed Megalobox, which is a fantastic hidden gem. So you get to hear that. But it's getting all set up. I'm trying to get everything put in here so you can get your first month 50% off right now. You can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave and get the tier that fits best for you. It's looking good. It's looking pristine, looking pristine. And we've got more Kaiju number 8 coming your way. So come and check it out. It's going to be a great time, everybody. So make sure to come over and support us on Patreon. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but every little bit helps us be able to make awesome content like we're doing here tonight. Cody, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing well. Hoping the fam is doing well. Guys, let's jump into what you're playing. We can also do, power playing, watching, reading. But for myself, I'm currently playing Ghost of Tsushima, of course, on Tuesday nights. And then on my own time, I've been playing Death Stranding, which I've really, really been enjoying that game. It's just nice. And it's probably the most easy to follow, but it's still strange Kojima game so far. So I'm digging it. And like, I've been a fan of Kojima for a very long time. I've played every Metal Gear Solid except for 2, which I don't really understand why I never played 2, Sons of Liberty, but I've played everything else, and Delta does look really good. But I'm really enjoying Death Stranding. I did download Hollow Knight just to test it out, see what I think, I'm not a huge Metroidvania person, but that is something that is on my list to just at least try out so I can talk about it. I've watched a lot of people play it. It does look really, really good. Cody says, I've been in this weird spot where I spend 15, 20 minutes looking for something to play and give up. I was there before I started playing Death Stranding. I was literally looking through it. I was like, I don't know. I don't have anything to play. I'm not really feeling anything. And I've got stuff that I was really enjoying, but it was like, I want something different. I want something new. And I was like, I'll just try it. And I've been really liking it. Alters is really good as well on Game Pass. I do want to eventually go back to Blueprints and find out more on that one, but it's not like a pressing thing for me. But yeah, that's where I've been kind of with the games that I've been playing and everything. A lot of stuff is starting to come out. I did try out Donkey Kong Bonanza at Target the other day, and it was really good. What I played, it reminded me a lot of a Lego game where everything is like more destructible and everything. And it just felt really good. Very like the controller, because I was playing on the Switch too. Controller felt good. I was playing on the Pro controller. Everything just looked great. Like the game looked amazing. If I had the Switch too, definitely be playing more of that. But that was really cool to see and get to check out and everything. But that is pretty much all that I have been playing. Cody says, yeah, Blueprints is sort of my new default. We're waiting for Pokemon Legends Z8. Nice. When does that come out? I'm not totally sure when it comes out. And he says, watching Sakamoto Days, reading Lambert's Heart, book 3 of the Rook and Rose. Nice. Yeah, I'm reading book 5, Ashes of Man, of the Sun Eater trilogy. Cody says, we've been watching The Chosen with the girls, so that's been fun and interesting with the questions they ask. Chosen is great. Chosen is a great show. For me, what I've been watching Sakamoto with Amy. I've also been watching Kaiju number 8 for the channel. I've also been watching Blacklist, just kind of like off to the side. I'm enjoying it. James Spader's like, it's the perfect character for him to play. So I've definitely been enjoying that. Cody says Pokemon Legends is October 12th. So that's going to be dope. I don't think I'm going to get it. It does look cool, but I don't know. I don't know if it's something for me. Plus, October 2nd is Ghosts of Yote. So I'm going to be like all absorbed into that. Sky has her fun saved up. Let's go. Let's go. I remember there was a point in time when my mother was like, all right, we bought you the PlayStation 2. Here is Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Great game. Follow Jango Fett. And she was like, we're no longer buying you video games. And that was like 7th or 8th grade. I don't know. Sky is much younger. But from then on, I bought my own games. I would save. I would literally, don't do this if you're a kid. I would eat less. I would like get snacks or whatever. I'd eat less so I could save up money so I could go buy video games. And I bought so many video games. And like the PlayStation 2 era was such a great time in gaming because like there was just a plethora of games out there. There was like franchise games, IP games, like tons of Spider-Man games out there. Just like double A smaller things that you could play, 10, 12 hours and beat the game or whatever. It was before like the whole open world thing really took place. It was a great time. I wouldn't change that for any time. I wouldn't change that for anything. I'm thinking about getting Sky set up so she can stream playing it. She's been wanting to try streaming. Oh, let's go. Let's go. I love it. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, I would do like a YouTube, something like that. It's a little bit more insulated than like a Twitch or something, so you can test it out and everything. Everybody, let us know what you're playing, because we're about to jump into our First story of the night. If this is your first time joining the Nerd Cave news, welcome. My name is Zach. We do this each and every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. We bring you through all the nerdy news that you need to know. It's a great time. It's an awesome time. We get to hang out. We get to discuss the news from the week. We love getting to hear your thoughts, your comments on it. So make sure to put those in the chat as we go through the stories, because I'll pull them up just like, Michael. What's up, Michael? It'll come up on the screen. We'll pull your thoughts and all of that. So without further ado, let's get into the gaming discussion this week. Nintendo has no real need for new franchises, veteran says, and can just pick whatever existing series fits new gameplay. A former Nintendo developer, Ken Watanabe, explained why the company doesn't release many brand new franchises. He said there's no real need for new IP because Nintendo's focus is on inventing new ways to play its games, not on creating new characters or worlds. According to him, the skin or the wrapper, meaning the story, the characters, and settings, is less important than the actual gameplay itself. Instead of building new franchises, Nintendo usually takes one of an existing series like Mario or Zelda and uses it as they say best fit for the new gameplay idea that they want to try. So that to me was kind of shocking hearing this earlier in the week. I was like, okay, that's different, but I'm of two minds here, and I want to hear your thoughts as well, because the last time we got a new IP from Nintendo was actually, I want to say the squids. What is it called? Splatoon. That was the last time, and that was like Wii U. Was when we got Splatoon. We've had Splatoon 2 and 3 as well, but that's the last time we've actually seen a new IP. Everything else has been Mario, Zelda, Kirby. It's just been, we've had different things, and now, like, of course, we're getting, Donkey Kong Bonanza. We're finally getting a new Donkey Kong game, and then we're getting a new kart racer with Kirby Air Riders. So it's like, why would you go and put out something that is untested, you don't know if people will like, and you're putting out something that might not work? I'm looking at this in their mind. It's like, we can innovate on gameplay, we can innovate on like how our controllers, motion controls, whatever it is, we can innovate on that, but we'll set it in a world that we know people love and enjoy. Because every time I open up a Mario game or whatever, there's just like this whimsy, there's a nostalgia factor to it. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm playing another Mario game. It doesn't feel like it is it's just the same stuff. There is a breath of fresh air. And looking at, like, Mario's had tons of games, and I hope we get an Odyssey too, but Odyssey was just an amazing breath of fresh air, even after Galaxy 1 and 2. But then we can look at this and kind of think of it, it's like, well, are we actually like pushing gaming forward? Is gaming just the gameplay? Is it the characters that are created? Like, how are we defining that? And clearly Nintendo is finding a place where they can figure out, like, oh, this is going to be the gameplay loop, these are going to be the mechanics, all of this kind of stuff, and then what character and story fits with that gameplay. And so far, it's working really well. It's working really well, everybody, because you look at it. Breath of the Wild sold like crazy. Tears of the Kingdom sold like crazy. Odyssey sold like crazy. And you see this over and over again. Animal Crossing, like all of these things. It's like every time they put out a game, they do really well. And it's like, instead of trying to come up with all of this stuff, they really just build a fantastic gameplay loop, and then they they really nail their worlds. I feel like the world building that they have might be simple, but they just do a fantastic job. I want to hop over to the comments and see what everybody is thinking and saying. Cody says, me and Sky were discussing this last night. We were playing the N64, N64 Super Nintendo, and I was telling her how Sega had tons of different characters, and Nintendo has the same all these years later. And that's true. It's Sega has so many characters, they have so many things, and their franchises are beloved, but Sega also like went out of building consoles and everything. And I don't feel like if you said, would you rather have Sonic or Mario, people are going to pick Mario. You know, would you rather have it's the depth that you've got there with Nintendo. Cody also goes on, but it's like they're exploring different game types with that character set. Zelda open world, Princess Peach, the new side scroller type, Star Fox Flyer, etc. I don't think Nintendo's trying to push the limits of gaming, just perfect types that are already out there. And I feel like that is a good way of kind of putting a bow on that, is like, we're going to perfect what we know and understand. And I feel like they've done that in such a way where they're actually kind of dominant when you really think about it. Like, they know how to make games, they know how to really make something that people enjoy. And the Switch 2 is selling like crazy. The Switch 1 was selling like crazy as well. And instead of going into this place where, oh, we've got to do Game Pass, or we've got to constantly put out a new version of Call of Duty, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the only Mario Kart 8 was on the Wii U and then on the Switch the entire time. And it was sold as the holiday bundle every year. And finally, because we got the Switch 2, we finally got Mario Kart World, Mario Kart 9 if you want to. And it's like they know that they can really just put out what they know, and they play it safe, but it still works. Compare that to live service games that Sony has kind of fell into because of their leadership. Even with like Microsoft, like not really knowing how to, like they're finally finding their footing, but they struggled for a really long time. There's literally like 2 console generations that really struggled, in my opinion. Like, most of this console generation kind of struggled with Xbox, and then the Xbox One really struggled to like actually have games that people are interested in. So I do feel like Nintendo has the pulse on this, but I don't think you're going to find anything that is groundbreaking in story. Like, they're very kind of heroes tales. It's just kind of basic storytelling, but the gameplay is fantastic. Joe's chiming in here. It's safer for sure. Better to use established characters than make new ones. Look at Concord versus Marvel Rivals. Yeah, it's you see so many people striking out when, if you can take an IP that is established and put it into a position where it has good gameplay, has interesting loops and all of that, it's going to be guaranteed success, as long as you don't take off the fan base or try to be money grubbers. But we'll see. We'll see if Nintendo continues this. I think they will, because, like I said before, they have a lot of people that are in leadership positions now that are businessmen instead of creators. And a lot of the decisions and everything are being made off of a business sense, which is not necessarily a bad thing to keep building Nintendo. But in the end, it's like, that's why we don't see any sales. We see hardware staying, and even increasing in price. We see a lot of things being decided because it's best for business. Cody says their game structure is similar to iPhone. They focus on making each version a little better. Also, keep it new enough you feel like you need the new version. Yeah, Like the new iPhone, like I've got a 14, the iPhone 17. I was like, okay, that's a big enough jump that I'm like, maybe, but it's not like enough where I like the filming, like the video side of it. I'm like, oh, you're talking to like the nerdy videographer like that I am, and like scratching part of my brain on that. But I'm like, I don't really need it. Like my phone still works perfectly fine. So yeah, I like that comparison. It does feel a lot like Apple this day and age compared to where Apple used to be innovative, like with Steve Jobs. That's the same of what Nintendo used to be with Iwata before he passed away, was they were constantly trying to do something new, fresh, and inventive. That's why we went from the GameCube to the Wii and had something really different and interesting, and it sold like hotcakes. And then, of course, we kind of struck out with the Wii U, but knowing where you're going, what you're wanting to accomplish is a huge thing. And Nintendo clearly has figured it out, and they're still going to keep crushing it. Let's move to our second story tonight. Talking about some Life is Strange, and this is kind of some unexpected news. Life is Strange TV series has been announced by Amazon with End of the World writer as the showrunner. Amazon is making a live-action Life is Strange TV series based on the 2015 game about Max Caulfield, a student who can rewind time. This was my game of the year in 2015. Charlie Coville, the End of the World, will be showrunner, and Amazon MG Studios, Square Enix, Story Kitchen, and Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap will be producing the show. No release or date or casting has been announced yet. Some original game writers aren't involved, which worries fans, but many hope Coville can capture the game's emotional heart. I think this is potentially one of the easiest shows to do. You don't have to do a lot to make this work, in my opinion. The story is absolutely amazing. This is not a game that the gameplay was groundbreaking. Like, yeah, you could rewind time and everything, but it was like at like certain points you could do that. It was all conversations. It was this mystery that you're trying to find out, and the twists and turns and all of that kind of deal, I think will be very interesting. Of course, you're not having the audience choose. I feel like if they do that, like I remember Markiplier put together a series, this is probably 2017 or something like that, where he did a few of these, but where you could literally choose and you would like click on the next thing or whatever, like the next playlist thing, and you would go down this rabbit hole and everything. I don't think that's the right play for Life is Strange. I think doing so where it's like, okay, we look at, okay, this many people chose this line of the story, we did X, Y, and Z. You get to the points where you're seeing the things that happen, because there are some major things that are in this. With Amazon doing this, I'm excited. Amazon has absolutely crushed when it comes to Fallout. And as long as the showrunners and the people behind this have the heart to tell the story and do it well and really show the world. And again, this world is like our world. It's just like you throw in like timey-wimey stuff into that. Like being able to showcase that, it's like, oh, I messed that up. Let me rewind that or whatever. That would be cool. I don't think you have to go to the extreme on this, just to like make it like, oh, it feels like the games. I think if you put some of the timey-wimey stuff, put some of the kind of psychological things that are in there, when things kind of hit the fan later on, like just being able to show those kind of things in the series, the show, I think would be cool. This is like a 1-season thing. All right. Like, do it 1 season. Don't drag this out. This is a 1-season show for sure. Amy says, Life is Strange show, as long as they don't change too much. Yeah, exactly. As long as they don't change too much. And like they've got to have the uncomfortable things that happen in there, because that is such a powerful powerful story moment within the show, within the story and everything. But let's go a little bit further here. Life is Strange TV writer says the only people not involved are the creators. Christian Devine, one of the original writers of Life is Strange, spoke out about the upcoming Amazon Prime Video adaptation, saying the only people not involved are the creators. His comment highlights the original creative team, including developers at Don't Nod and the game's writers, have no role in the show. That's kind of concerning. Instead, the series is being led by Charlie Coville, which we already talked about, and while there's still no release date, Divine's statement has sparked concern among fans who worry that leaving out the game's original voices could change the tone and spirit of the story. So, with that in mind, like, this game does have like a very specific vibe and feel to it, but I feel like it can even gaming adaptations are hard. Okay, we've only started seeing actual successive ones recently. It was something that we thought would never really happen, and then The Last of Us crushed it, Fallout crushed it, and before that was just slew of Mario Brothers, Assassin's Creed, all of these things, and then we've seen the Minecraft movie be successful, and just all these different things have been happening. And I think there's a way to do this where you don't have to have the original creators in there. I don't like that they're not involved. I feel like I'm not trying to be a corporate shield here. I like when the original creators are involved because you still get the heart, you still get the things that are actually matter within this. It could be, unfortunately, like the Witcher show, where Henry Cavill was the only one that was like really pushing for the actual story to be told and was having to fight the writers on everything to kind of get what The Witcher actually was, and then eventually left because he was tired of fighting them on everything. So it does make me nervous, kind of to what Amy says. Them not being involved makes me nervous. It kind of reminds me of when Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix version of it, they were like, oh, none of the people are going to be involved. Like, none of the two creators are not going to be involved with the show. And overall, the show is good, but it's kind of like, if you've watched the show like one time and you're telling somebody and you're like, oh yeah, and then like this cool action, like you're focused more on the action than you are some of the like emotional parts, the things that really matter and resonate. That's what we might run into here, which I know with the Fallout show, they have like a different showrunner, different people that are like producing this and everything. They care about the world, and that's why the Fallout show is so well loved. This, they have to really toe the line. They have to get people that know what the game is about. Why does it matter? Why is this something that people have loved 10 years later, going on 6 or 11 years? I'm adding too much time here. Cody says, I think with the introduction of AI, we'll see movies and shows series will begin offering altered versions, not just endings. It's fairly simple, but would grow engagement, discussion, and rewatch ability. That is an interesting way of kind of pitching that, because AI, like, it would be cool because you would kind of like, it wouldn't necessarily be like a click and a point and click kind of adventure, but it would be more of like a choose your adventure thing, which Life is Strange is all about. Is like you deciding, is this person going to live, is this one going to die, did you let that person jump off the roof or whatever. Like, there's a lot to the game where your decisions do make a huge part of it. If they're able to introduce that into this show, I think that would be really cool. But again, that would cause way more filming to happen because of like the branching off of those decisions. but it would be really cool at the same time. But then you get into the thing is like, are the decisions important for the audience to make? Or do we craft the narrative around a predetermined decision off of this to get us to point A to B to C to D, so forth and so far, to where we get to the penultimate point of the story and the choice that is made there? Because there's one choice like at the very end that's huge, and I know um my take on it, like why I chose the way I did, and I've had people like had like discussions and arguments on why my choice was right and theirs was wrong. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a very interesting way of doing this. I would love to see where this takes the game, because it did just get remastered recently, and they just put out another game in the series, and it's like, will we see the uptick that we've seen with Last of Us, with Fallout, even with Minecraft from the shows and the movies come out? Will we see that with Life is Strange? Guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button to the Nerd Cave right now, and we are available on YouTube. We're over on Twitch tonight as well. We're just checking it out, seeing what it feels like. You know what I mean? But come check us out over on youtube.com/nerdcave. We have a ton of awesome content here, just like this show, each and every week. It's a good time, and y'all definitely deserve something good in your life, for sure. Cody says Netflix sort of trial ran something similar with kid shows. It offers interactive choices. Majority of the scenes were the same, but the dialogue to get there differed. Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Of course, I don't have any kids, so I wouldn't know, but that is pretty dope that's there. Howdy, Nate. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's jump into some Xbox news. Pete Hines talks about how Bethesda has changed. If y'all don't know, Pete Hines was at Bethesda for like 24 years, which is kind of crazy. Former Bethesda exec Pete Hines says there's just no question that the company is not the same compared to its early days. He explained that Bethesda has gone through so many changes over the decades, growing from a smaller, less defined studio into a larger, more complex organization. Hines recalls that he and Todd Howard, who walked out on stage, hated the confusion when people assumed every new game was from Howard's team, even when it wasn't. Even after Bethesda split into clear divisions like Bethesda Game Studios for development and Bethesda's Softworks for publishing, many fans still just say Bethesda and assume all projects come from the same group. Hines believes this shows how much the studio structure and public identity have shifted as it has expanded. And like, I know we've got like Bethesda Studios, we've got like Bethesda as a conglomerate, like you've got Machine Games under that and all of that. It's not like super clear. Like even Bethesda Softworks, like to me, that's like, oh, they're making software, which is games. You know, like I do see like the vision there though, which would get like having where it's like, oh, it's just Todd's team making all the games, is like that would get kind of frustrating. But you know, when you really think about it, it's like, how clear are you with the messaging around all of these things? Because if people are assuming it's because that's the information they have available to them. But you know, when you start a group and it grows and you start being able to make more stuff than just Fallout or Skyrim, or not just Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, and then you're able to get ZeniMax, like ZeniMax owned them for a while, and then you have Machine Gun Games, and then you have id, and you have all these things under Bethesda. Like getting Bethesda with Xbox, getting Bethesda was a huge day, because like they got so many great development teams. If y'all haven't played the new Doom game, my gosh, y'all need to get the new Doom game. God, it's so amazing. It just plays so well. It's on Game Pass. Trust me, you need to play it. But I definitely can see, like, when you build something your own, it's definitely going to shift and change as it grows. But Pete Hines talked a little bit more about the gaming industry. He says, Hines says gaming subscription service are worth jack crap without proper support for game devs. He's talking strong here. Let's see what he had to say. Former Bethesda executive Pete Hines criticized gaming subscription services like Game Pass, saying they saying they undervalue developers who make them possible. He warned, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing the content without which your subscription is worth jack crap, then you have a real problem. Hines argued that developers are not properly acknowledged, compensated, or respected for creating and finishing games, calling out short-sighted decision-making and how subscriptions are managed. He noted that subscription models often undercut retail sales, and even successful games don't protect studios, pointing out what happened to Hi-Fi Rush, and which thrived on Game Pass. And then we actually saw Microsoft shut down that studio. He goes on to say developers are fitting into an ecosystem that is not properly valuing and rewarding what they're making. He said, stressing that without better support, the quality and sustainability of games could be at risk. So, y'all let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like because of subscription services, and you can even look at what we're getting in the video realm, the films, TV shows, like how subscription services are trying to meet the demand that the public has, and we're most of the time getting less and less quality stuff. I think about season 1 of The Mandalorian. Amazing. I was like, man, this is so good. And it just came out at the perfect time during COVID. And then season 2 was pretty good. And then you get Boba Fett, and it's like, that's not good. You get Captain America Winter Soldier, and it was all right. But like, you start seeing things slip more and more. Like, you think about the heyday of Netflix when you're getting like House of Cards in the early days, when it's just amazing. Orange is the New Black. You're getting so many things, and the value is there. And Pete is pointing out something really interesting is developers, just like the people that are making these shows and everything, it's pumping out so much content that it, like, you eventually get to slop. Think about this. If you remember this episode of SpongeBob, okay, one of the best episodes of SpongeBob, where King Neptune challenges SpongeBob to a hamburger cooking contest because he couldn't believe that SpongeBob pulled the golden spatula. So we see them in this arena. It's filled with tons of people watching, and King Neptune, he's literally growing crops and he's doing all of this. It's super flashy and all of this kind of stuff. And he's literally makes thousands of hamburgers, and it literally stacks them all up and then starts giving them out to everybody. And everybody's raving. And then the whole time, SpongeBob is just taking his time, just really taking his time and putting everything together. And there's love and care there. And King Neptune starts laughing. He's like, you only finished one. And then he's like, that's pathetic. Of course, I have won. And then the crowd starts eating the hamburgers that Neptune put together. All right. If y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all let me know. And then they took a bite of it, and it was awful. It was just mush. It was like this gray mush. Okay. It was just awful. And then he took a bite of it, and he's like, oh my God, this is like not good. He's like, but clearly your product, your burger couldn't be better than mine. And then he took a bite of SpongeBob's Krabby Patty. And he was blown away. And then I'm thinking of this, like, if you look at what Silksong is doing right now in the gaming industry, it is blowing people's minds. I'm not a Metroidvania side scroller player, really, like, but I'm interested in at least trying out the game to say I've played it. But the game is $20. That's it. The whole game is $20. It was made by 3 people. And people are losing their minds within the publisher side of things in the gaming industry, saying that this is unfair. How could they do this? Blah, blah. And like getting mad at Team Cherry for saying, hey, we're only going to charge $20 for this, and it's going to be a jam-packed game. And it is. It's clearly a jam-packed game. It's been crushing concurrent numbers, literally brought down Steam, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox stores on launch day. And people are angry at Team Cherry for putting out something so good, challenging the status quo of if something is worth value, then you have to charge a ton of money for it, or you have to put it on a subscription service. They didn't do either. They literally charged $20, and they worked on this game for like 7 years, y'all. And they put time and effort into it, literally kickstarted a lot of what the game is. And you look at what Game Pass is doing, and I have a Game Pass subscription. I love Game Pass, but I saw an interview with the game directors of Doom, the Dark Ages, and the interview asks is like, how did you go about like making the game in consideration of Game Pass? And they're like, oh, that's a great question, because we actually had to kind of tweak some of the beginnings so you had some earlier wins, because people on Game Pass, they'll download something or try something out and they'll hop games over and over and over and not really go deep into it. And we have seen numbers that, you know, Game Pass does lead to, you know, a lot of people buying the game because you do get a discount. But if it stays on Game Pass, like all Xbox first party games do, there's no reason to buy it as long as you keep Game Pass. And I can see where Pete is coming from here is like, if you don't support these artists, you don't support the developers, and you have major successes, but then you say, well, we didn't make enough money, we got to close down Tango Gameworks. That says a lot when you have a success and you still close down that. You look at Marvel Rivals, they were crushing it. And what did they do? They still laid people off after having an amazing launch. So I totally understand where Pete is coming from on this, because like you're asking for a ton of stuff, but you're not willing to support the people that are there. I want to jump into comics here, okay? Now he says, I like Game Pass, but I do fear a world of all just digital content and not truly owning anything, because the streaming services decided you don't own it. That's true. And even now, where when you buy a game, most times now there's nothing in the case. It's just a code to download it. Like Switch 2, it's just the thing you put it in and it starts downloading. There's no game on there. Cody says, I think the subscription service appeals to people using Xbox as their central entertainment console as they design. It's good for us because I feel like I'm sacrificing quality games for games. Yeah, I totally understand. Like, it's been nice to just be able to jump in and try things out. But there's still amazing quality. At the moment, we're still getting some amazing quality. We're finally actually like getting something good. Cody also said, I feel like I'm sacrificing quality games for games we all can play. Or is it just me? I would have PlayStation and probably only specific quality games I buy separate. Yeah, and I think that's why Derek and I love PlayStation, other than like a few fumbles and weird decisions, is their games story-wise, like they stay with you. They stick with you. And I feel like Xbox hasn't really had that in a very long time. They are getting a little bit better, but I feel like nothing has been like, oh my god, this is amazing. When I've played Xbox games, other than like in the last year. Nate also says, I'm not saying you own the games in a subscription service, but the way we're going to an all digital media market, I fear losing rights to games and movies you do actually purchase. Yeah, that's a huge thing that has been happening, where you're not going to own it, and they can choose to pull it down at any moment that they deem necessary, which is kind of scary. Um, yeah, yeah, good for them. Team Cherry, good on y'all. And it is on Game Pass, but they're still absolutely crushing it. And this is when the game is like consumer friendly. When pirators, people that pirate games and all of that, are telling other pirators to not pirate this game. They want them to support the game. That tells you a lot about what Team Cherry and Hollow Knight Silksong is doing. That's huge. Brantley, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well tonight. Last biggin of the night, Xbox Game Pass is once again in the firing line after former Microsoft exec says it creates weird inner tensions. Xbox Game Pass is facing new criticism after former Xbox Game Studio VP Shannon Loftus said, while Gaming Pass can claim a few victories, the majority of the game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue, unless the game is engineered from the ground up for post-release monetization. Talking about microtransactions. Examples highlight this tension are Hi-Fi Rush became a Game Pass hit with millions of players, yet its studio was later closed by Microsoft, talking about Tango Games, raising doubts about whether success on the service truly supports developers. Smaller games like Humans Fall Flat have gained valuable visibility, but critics argue that exposure often fails to make up for lost sales. While players benefit from cheap subscriptions with lots of games, industry veterans say the model creates weird inner tensions by offering great value to the subscribers while sometimes undervaluing the studios behind the games, leading to growing concerns about long-term sustainability. And I think, just to I kind of harped on that a little bit before this one. You look at what is being put out, and eventually it's going to have to be cooled back. I remember, like, and again, I feel like Game Pass is the best deal in gaming still. But when you look at this and you see how things are going, eventually it's going to get to where it's just slop. There's nothing there. It goes back to what I said about the SpongeBob episode. Do you want SpongeBob's hamburger or do you want King Neptune's? I want SpongeBob's. I'll pay for a good hamburger. I don't want slop. Okay. I don't want slop. And we see that. And if it takes people having to, like, if I'm excited about a game, I will pay hard earned cash for it. Okay. If I'm really excited about a game. And yeah, I do, again, use Game Pass, but I'm excited for Ghost of Yotei. I cannot wait for them to put money down and get that game. That's something that I'm super excited about. So I'm looking forward to it. What is my favorite PS5 game? God of War Ragnarok. For sure. God of War Ragnarok. Love that game. And God of War, which is not a PS5 game, but I do love it. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok, and then probably Marvel Spider-Man 2. so far. I do love Astrobot as well. Astrobot's really good. Guys, it's time for the Patreon Quick Hits. Patreon Quick Hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go support the Nerd Cave by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership to help us continue to make awesome shows just like this one. And right now, everybody, you can get 50% off of your very first Nerd Cave month membership month over at patreon.com/nerdcave. I'll show y'all what we got over here. Yeah, you can see that's that's us right now. Watching Kaiju number 8, React to Nid, talking about anime. Y'all can go support this, guys. First month is 50% off. It's literally half off, everybody, and that is through September. Okay, that is all the way through September. So go and support it. All right, go support it. It helps us make awesome stuff. It helps us make this show and so much more. So go support it. It helps us a ton. So go patreon.com/nerdcave. Get 50% off through the month of September, whatever you want to call it. It's time now for the Patreon Quick Hits. IO Interactive says 008 First Light. 007 First Light has missions that are the largest we've done in our history. Street Fighter movie full cast has officially been announced, releasing October 16th, 2026. Got some interesting cast in there. We got literally 50 Cent going to be in there. We've got people from WWE. It's a very interesting cast. Go look it up. Metal Gear Solid Delta digital sales and shipments top 1 million on release date. Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft Season 2 set for December 11th premiere. That's an anime. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown hits 3 million players. If you are really into side-scrolling games, Prince of Persia is amazing. Plays really, really well. Civ 7 dev Firaxis Games has suffered layoffs. Steven Spielberg wanted to direct a COD movie, and he's a huge fan of the series, but Activision said no. I don't know how you can say no to one of the greatest directors of all time that directed Saving Private Ryan. I don't know who made that decision, but they're an idiot. Concerned Ape dev behind Stardew Valley has a cameo role in Hollow Knight Silksong. Tetsuo Nomura says Final Fantasy Remake Part 3 and Kingdom Hearts 4 are progressing well. GTA 6 could be the first 5A, the quintuplet. Is that? No, that's not. Whatever. The 5A game, says Developer Digital co-founder. It doesn't really matter. We've had quadruple and it was awful. It's a AAA game. Amazon's God of War TV series set to begin filming in Canada this March. 2026. Switch modder who ignored warnings from Nintendo and attempted to defend himself without a lawyer ultimately must pay $2 million for enabling piracy. Bethesda teases Terran Armada on Starfield 2-year anniversary, sending fans down a speculation rabbit hole. Machine Game teases we're not done with Wolfenstein yet. After the whole Indiana Jones game, let's see another Wolfenstein. I'm down for that. Indie devs are worried Silksong's $20 price tag will make it harder for them to price their games. Rumor PS6 to launch with detachable disk drive. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles may get a future sequel if titles sell well. Onimusha 3 Demon Siege remaster not currently in the pipeline. Focus remains on Way of the Sword. Animal Crossing was deemed so difficult to launch outside of Japan, Nintendo's former boss Satoru Iwata burst out in laughter after hearing it would finally happen. Skyblivion creator says it's still aiming for a 2025 release date as the volunteer devs quit fan-made recreation of Oblivion in Skyrim. Hideki Kamiya says a new PT-style game should be made, whether that be by Kojima or himself. Keanu Reeves says he's absolutely wanting to be part of Cyberpunk 2. Sucker Punch opens up another dev handling an infamous remaster. Hollow Knight Silksong drops first patch to make the game a little bit easier to play. Dead Island continuation confirmed beyond Dead Island 2. A 60-minute Nintendo Direct is planned tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central Time. And Arrowhead Studio says a Destiny-style social hub is on the feature list in the next Helldivers game. There you go, everybody. Hope that you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. That is the show tonight. Make sure that you've hit that like button. Go get your 50% off over on patreon.com/nerdcave. I'm excited, guys. We got a lot of good stuff coming your way. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time. That is going to do it, guys. My voice is kind of racked. We'll be live next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be playing some more Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to be taking your input on all of that. I've been enjoying the whole chat deciding. So y'all go and be a part on that. And yeah, y'all have a great night. Be safe. Hug your loved ones. This has been Zach. Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.